Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Man, of course it is your boy B New coming at you on this hump day Wednesday. So first and foremost, as always, positive vibes and vibrations and blessings out to everybody who could be watching or listening at this particular moment. But we got a few things we can get into, and I do want to apologize for being a little bit MIA as of late. Got a lot going on, family-wise, and as well as trying to get some things taken care of. But don't worry, it's going to be back very consistent very soon, because I got some things in the work that I think that you guys might just like. So we'll talk about that more later. But man, I had to chime in on this because, listen, Giannis Antetokounmpo, I bucks with you. You know, I was cheering you on and everything. Like, I wanted you to win the NBA Finals against Phoenix and everything. I was not, I didn't really have a dog in the race, but, you got to pick a side. If you're watching a sports event, you want to lean one side towards the other. Sometimes you can watch it and don't even care, but if you don't even care, then why even watch it? You understand what I'm saying? But unless you analyze it like I do. But at the end of the day, Giannis, I don't know what's going on, man. I'm going to have to check and see what your sign is, because you acted, man, you getting a real big head. Like, you said a lot of things afterwards, and, you didn't have to join the super team and, all this kind of good stuff. And I spoke on that. But now you have to go to Instagram and feel the need to post stories of all these different players who won championships with their team that they were originally drafted to. So I don't know, if I need to officially move you over to the smooth brain people or what, because just be serious. Now, y'all know I'm not a fan of Kevin Durant. I respect his game, and I know how great he is. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing I will say is, if the Brooklyn Nets were healthy, then you would not be hoisting that trophy or that finals MVP. And that's a plain fact. Hell, if the Lakers were healthy, you would not be hoisting that trophy. If the Clippers were fully healthy, you would not have that trophy. Do you understand? Listen, I know injuries are part of sports, and before you jump all into the comments talking about you play who in front of you, I understand that, and that's why I never took nothing away from him, and I actually picked them, and I won money off them. So I'm not hating. I'm just saying, don't get the big head and start bragging, because, man, I tell you what, that's not a good look for you, Giannis. When you remain humble, you will be exalted. So that happens. That's in life. That's in sports. Or in every aspect of life. When you are humble, you will be lifted up, because you're gonna rise. Like prima de la creme, you're gonna rise. Like Pac used to say, "Still I rise." You will rise. You don't have to be braggadocious or going around tooting your own horn, or like you just did some kind of mighty accomplishment. Now, you was one ashy big toe away from being sent home had Kevin Durant toe not been on that three-point line. And that was him without Kyrie and Harden, which make it a super team. So you barely could beat a team that wasn't a super team. And your team was fully healthy. Now, let's not forget, Giannis, you damn near lost to the Atlanta Hawks. So for anybody in the comments who are already going to sit up here and say that somehow Giannis got a right to say these things and post all this and that, dude, you were about to lose to the Hawks until Trae Young got injured. The Hawks was beating y'all ass. It was tied 2-2. And I mean, Giannis, you did get injured. You got injured, then your team came and won. So you act like you're not playing on a good team. So I guess, what point are you trying to make? That you stayed with your original team? That somehow that's better? Like, for all the smooth brain people who think because you got drafted to that team, go back and do some research of the great Oscar Robertson, the Big O, who fought Congress and went through mitigation and spoke out on behalf of the players and formed this union with the NBA and ABA merger, who allowed a thing called free agency. It's called free. That's free. It's called free. Not a slave to the NBA. You understand what I'm saying? You have a right to go to another team, because tell me, what job in this great land of the United States of America is it that you have to go to a certain company? Do you graduate college or high school and then Delta Faucet or Porter Cable or Procter & Gamble or Kellogg's or Ford or Mitsubishi or Nissan or whoever say, be new, we drafted you, you got to come work here? What? You drafted me, now I got to come work there? Man, that's crazy. But that's what happens in sports. And then because you get drafted, you have to stay there? No! That's why it's called a contract, and it runs out, and you can exercise your right to be a free agent. Now, free agency been going on since the 70s, and nobody ever complained until LeBron James did something. You understand what I'm saying? Did they do that when Kareem took his talents to the Lakers and left the Milwaukee Bucks? Which it was technically a trade, I know, but it was a signed, sealed, silent agreement that they had by Kareem going to them prior to and saying, listen, the merger is coming forth. You're not going to have the rights. Free agency is coming. You are not going to be able to hold on to me. And I want to go live in bright and sunny Los Angeles, where I'm from and where I played at UCLA. And he did them a solid to let them know that. And then they worked out an agreement to where at least they can get something back. Do you understand? So how is it a major accomplishment that you won the championship with the team you was drafted to? Is it your accomplishment, or is it the accomplishment of the GMs and the coaches? Is it an accomplishment of the GM and the coaches that actually was able to construct the team? Because last I checked, players play. Coaches coach. GMs and front office people scout. Speaking of the Lakers scouting, I want to talk about the Lakers scout and all the possibilities of the Lakers free agency and all the things that's been going on. Definitely gonna get to that, y'all. We got time. Like I said, the show is gonna be back in full effect real soon, man. I appreciate the support. Anybody who out here who send me love, man, and keep it real, I definitely mad shouts and props out to you. But let me tell you something. At the end of the day, just because you got drafted to that team and you won, that doesn't make a championship any better or any less. Now, I understand you might say, well, this coach and this team and this front office, they trusted in me. They drafted me. So I want to remain loyal to them. Let me ask you this. As soon as you start playing like some boo-boo, or as soon as you get hurt, or as soon as the next great thing come along, what they gonna do with you? Trade. So they trade all the time and trade you, but yet you want everybody to think that you need to remain loyal to them. But are they loyal to you? We could talk about the Isaiah Thomases of the world, not the original, not the OG, the new. We could talk, how Boston did it. We could talk about these things with the way franchises do you. You understand? But at the end of the day, it is a player's right to exercise their option of free agency, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, like I was saying, if you got drafted to Porter Cable or McDonald's or whatever you got drafted to, and then you had a chance to say, well, you know what? I'm over here working for Nissan, but you know what? General Electric offered me a deal that pays better. It's in my hometown. It's in a better location for my family. It's in a more beautiful city. The pay is better. My co-workers are better. I have a more chance to be successful. Then you take the opportunity. You don't owe GM a damn thing. Or Ford or whoever the hell. You don't owe Nissan a damn thing. You understand me? You take your talents to where you choose to take your talents to. And people can be mad all they want to. I'm not mad at LeBron James for going to the Miami Heat. I'm not mad at Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors, because it was in the ramifications of the rules. Was I a fan of the move? People want to call me hypocritical because I was happy LeBron went to the Heat, I was happy as hell. Originally, I can go back. I'm going to show y'all something to show you how I be predicting stuff. Y'all think I'm playing. I did a freestyle. Put in the comments if y'all want to hear my freestyle. I did a freestyle, you know what I'm saying, about 3 or 4 years ago, predicting and saying that LeBron James was going to the Lakers before it ever happened. You understand? And I got other posts where I can show you even the day of, and I can go back on my Facebook page and screenshot and show y'all too that I predicted that LeBron James was going to the Miami Heat. I predicted it. Because why would he continue to stay in Cleveland and be surrounded by mediocre talent trying to carry the weight, and then he look across the Eastern Conference and now he playing against a super team, if that's what you want to call it. I don't even believe in that shit. I'm sorry. Technically. Now to me, a super team, I don't give a damn what anybody else's definition of a super team. That's why it's 2 key words I said. To me, my definition of a super team is when you have 2 players that have won an MVP that's starting on the team that are both still playing within their prime years. Y'all look it up and tell me how many teams do you have like that. So, if you look at that Golden State Warriors that Kevin Durant said, and I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse or whatever you call it between LeBron move going to Miami and KD. We all know it's a different move. If you don't, then you got a smooth brain. If you disagree, then just disagree. Move on. But at the end of the day, a super team is when you have 2 MVPs in your starting lineup. Because we're not talking all-stars. Because we know that's a popularity contest sometimes. You understand me? It's been players who've been all-stars in particular years who didn't even deserve it. Who may have been even past their prime, but they allowed them to play in the all-star game. It's been all-stars who other all-stars was injured and they became an alternate, just like how you do in the Pro Bowl. Maybe they weren't really all-stars. So we talk about MVPs, fam. MVPs is what really is the true factor of what you're saying is a super team. So when you had the only unanimous MVP, which LeBron James and Michael Jordan both should have had several unanimous MVPs, but we won't get into all that. You had the only unanimous MVP of all time is Steph Curry in the starting lineup with Kevin Durant, who also is an MVP player and has been considered to be the best in the league, and some people even say best in the world. So when you have those 2 MVPs in your starting lineup, and then you mix it up with one of the best shooters of all time in Klay Thompson, then my friends, you have a super team. What about Miami would make them a super team, other than LeBron and D Wade? Now maybe you could say that because that's how damn good they are, but I'm talking about D Wade was never MVP. Did he lead Miami to a championship? Yes. Did he have a Hall of Famer, Shaq, still playing along beside him, who was still playing pretty good, and the backup, Alonzo Mourning, who came in and contributed as well as others? Yes. Could he have been an MVP? Maybe. Could have been a year where he could have won the MVP? Maybe. But he didn't. So, and then you throw in a Bosh. Bosh going to the Hall of Fame, but, I mean, to me, he going to the Hall of Fame because of LeBron James. Because if Bosh would have stayed in Toronto, do you think he would be going to the Hall of Fame? Because he just put up a bunch of numbers. There's a lot of players who puts up a bunch of numbers that was primary scorers on their team. Look what Kevin Love did in Minnesota. And Kevin Durant wanted to say that the teams were equal from top to bottom. When you have a Klay Thompson, a Draymond Green, a Kevin Durant, a Steph Curry, come on now, against a LeBron James, a Kyrie, and a Kevin Love. Kevin Love is not that great of a basketball player. I mean, he's good, but he's not great. I mean, he can beat my ass on the court. I mean, don't get it twisted. I know Kevin Durant getting his feelings and be like, man, all these dudes talking basketball that never played it. Listen, everybody entitled to an opinion. You understand what I'm saying? So don't be mad, KD. If you're watching it, my guy, don't be mad. But what I'm telling y'all is, don't ever think that you can just sit up here and this is back to Giannis, and try to disrespect other players and call them out and just act like what you did was so great. Oh, you just vanquished all these mighty teams. You didn't get the best team coming out the West because of injuries. Several injuries. Y'all, this is not typical. For all you smooth brainers that's in the comments and saying all this kind of stuff, I just ignore you. Because if you honestly feel like that they would be in the position and be winning the championship, then you smoking. It's the reason why Brooklyn is favored next year. It's the reason why the Lakers are second favorite next year. Is because they have a more talented squad. And at the end of the day, barring any injuries, then that's who we'll be facing off against each other. You know, it'd have been nice to see that in the finals. Kevin Durant against LeBron James, Anthony Davis, man, it would have been great, but it didn't happen. So let's just hope everybody can be back healthy and we can watch some good basketball next year. Because I'm telling you what, if you think about all the injuries, and it's not just a little, I can see if it's a little injury here or there, but you talking about Jamal Murray, great superstar point guard for Denver, not playing. You think they would have got smoked like that, the way they got smoked? No. Okay. Then you talk about a Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell, the starting backcourt for Utah, hurt. You think if they was hurt, they would have got smoked like that? No. Then you're talking about the Clippers. Serge Ibaka never got healthy. Kawhi Leonard, their best player, goes down. Come on now. Then in the East, you look at Harden, injured. Kyrie, injured. Trae Young, injured. I mean, like I said, it's a part of the game. I'm not mad at it, but don't be bragging like you did something, Giannis. Because I was becoming a big fan of yours. I was putting you as one of my favorite players. And it's not because I think you taking personal shots at LeBron James. If anything, I think he taking shots at Kevin Durant and James Harden, especially because the beef that him and Harden had before. Especially because of that beef. And then you got a Kevin Durant, too, that's on that squad. So that's going to make for some real good basketball. We got to make sure we have league pass and everything in order for next year, because it's going to make for some good basketball. And then for that guy that blocked KD little dunk down there from Miami, the little guy from Nigeria, I forgot his name already, and talked that trash, and KD still never responded. Oh, yeah. And speaking of that, good job to the USA men's team last night for defeating Iran. That wasn't a surprise at all. It is Iran, and no shot at Iran, but they just not out over there just hooping like that just yet. So anyway, much love to everybody. I got a lot more coming up about the Lake Show and Lakers Nation and all the key moves in the off season. We're gonna talk about some mid-level exceptions, some mini mid-level exceptions. We're gonna talk about free agents that we think would be good. We're gonna talk about what the team would look like potentially next year. So we got a lot to talk about. You know, we got the draft coming up. A lot of good things we can get into. But as always, this has been your boy B New. I'm saying right on to the real, and much love to y'all haters. I'm out.